Hi, I'm Sarah.
And I'm Candace.
And welcome to Don't Start.
And as we like to say, don't start.
Candace, save it for the show.
Exactly. So let's get to it. Let's pick up with part 2 of John Edward.
May I?
Yes, please.
Okay. There is another male that's with your dad. So there's two energies. So think like your dad and a brother, a dad and an uncle, right? So there's two father figures there. There's got to be a connection to either August or the 8th of a month, birthday or anniversary. And then there's a reference of, I don't know if you're one of three or if there was a reference to you have 3 pregnancies or 3 kids, but there's a reference of 3. So there's 3 pregnancies.
My brother has 3 kids that my dad loved dearly. And my fiance lost his dad the month before. And my dad's birthday was January 8th.
So the 8th of the month is okay. And then is the cancer connection your dad?
Mom went through breast cancer.
Not her. There's a person who passed from cancer.
Oh, my dad did. Sorry, Katie, producer.
Katie, producer's here.
That dad coming in, the one with the cancer, and he must have passed within like 3 or 4 days of either a holiday or 3 or 4 days of another event, Katie, right?
Yeah, he passed very close to the anniversary of my mother's passing.
So then they're coming in together.
Oh, and of the 4th of July. He passed on July 2nd, so.
Yeah, so I feel like you have that. And then one of them has a dog with them. There's a reference to the dog that's there.
I have Lola. Lola, who passed just months after.
Yeah, they have the dog that's with them. And I feel like, did you just come across like an old black and white like wedding photograph of your grandparents? Or did you just see like an old black and white?
Did you?
That's me.
Oh,
That's Fran. Yeah, my grandmother.
okay. I'm supposed to acknowledge you just came across and you made a comment about the type of gown or the type of something that she was wearing.
I just performed 2 days ago. I do a one-person show, a comedy show, and I have a whole shtick in it where I talk about how my grandmother hated her ex-husband and she cut him out of her wedding photos. And I have a big projector behind me. And up on the projector is the wedding photo with her cutout of just her up there in her fabulous gown. And the audience usually goes wild.
I'm curious, does she resemble in this photo like an old 1930s Hollywood starlet?
100%.
Yeah.
So not the big poofy wedding gown look, more of a sleek kind of a
It's
vibe?
very sleek, and then it froze out at the bottom, but very sleek.
So is she the woman that would always talk about making sure how her hair had to be?
Yes.
Okay. And then she's got Louise, where there's like a reference to Lewis with her.
Oh, God. My mother had an Uncle Louie.
Yeah.
That's funny.
And then who had the missing eye or the glass eye? Where's the reference to the eye?
Oh, dear God. I think this is on my husband's side.
And Joseph? Who's Joey? Joseph.
Josie's my grandmother, my other grandmother.
Joseph. So Fran is your mom's mom?
My dad's mom.
So Josie's your mom's mom.
Yeah.
So who's like one of 7?
Oh, Fran is one of 9.
Yeah. Because my mom was one of 11 and I felt below that.
Yeah. She's the baby.
It's very funny. Your one grandmother feels very traditional.
Yes.
The other grandmother feels like she wants nothing to do with the old tradition and she wants to be more modernized. Like,
Correct.
yeah, I'm not doing that. And
Yep.
you're not doing that.
100%. That's Fran.
And then are you New York based?
Yes.
Okay. Did your grandmother live south of New York? Did she live like in like Georgia or did somebody spend time in the Carolinas?
They spent time there. She did every now and then.
I kind of feel like I want to talk about like North Carolina. There's something about North Carolina.
North Carolina.
Yeah. Like, are you going there?
I have some shows coming up.
Okay. Remember this. Remember what I'm telling you. You're going to be there and you're going to see something that's going to be like, boom, like grandma, boom, grandma. It's like you're going to see these things and they're going to not be things that you can look for. They'll be things that you'll go, oh, and it'll be like, boom, boom.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Big news, Don't Start, friends. We are so excited because Candace's comedy special drops January 27th on Amazon Prime and Apple TV. Mark your calendars, get ready to laugh because we can't wait to watch.
And then your mom's living, Sarah, right?
Yeah.
And are you trying to get her to go somewhere in February?
No, I just took her to Egypt. Was that not enough, John?
She's very good to her mom.
I feel like we got to talk about something in February, traveling in February, or the trip that you're planning for February.
I have one in March with my fiance.
I see February. I'm seeing something in February.
I don't have my February schedule yet. I'm traveling a lot in January, but not February.
But just let your mom know your dad's good. And then you said one of you lost a baby, right?
We
Yeah,
both did,
went
but yeah, we
through
both
it.
did.
So I need you to know that those energies stay within the family circle and imagine them as little lights. They still like little luminaries. They count. And is Tony or Tommy connected to one of you?
My husband's name is Tom.
I was going to say, I hope he's connected to you.
My husband, yeah, Tom is my husband.
You call him Tom or Tommy?
I call him Tom, but a lot of Italians in my family call him Tommy.
Do you know if he lost a friend or if he lost a contemporary?
He lost a friend about a year ago. It was like his old dance teacher, and
I feel like I'm supposed to acknowledge his friend, his contemporary that passed as well.
okay.
Was that the suicide?
No.
There's somebody whose actions brought about their passing.
Hmm.
Somebody showed me like what they did caused how they passed.
Okay, and it's on Tom's side. I'll relay it to him.
So I hope this helps, guys.
Thank you.
You're amazing.
Follow him on everything.
Follow him on everything.
Get your book.
Get his book, Chasing Evil. It's amazing. You're amazing.
We talked about you not calling it a gift, but this was a huge. It's a huge
Come on.
gift. It's a huge gift to us that you were here today, and it validates our hearts and love for you.
Oh gosh.
Thank you. Big hugs to Aunt Phyllis.
Oh, John, you don't even know, man. She's gonna flip
Mater.
out.
Thank you so much for your time.
All right, bye.
Sarah, I'm still recording. I'm not even gonna stop because I can't.
Please, he was absolutely lovely, wonderful.
His energy is insane.
I know his energy
beautiful.
was beautiful, and so many things he referenced.
I'm getting hot
I
flashes.
feel like even with, I'm not just talking about him reading, but like when he talks about his brain and mind as another name, I've been really working about,
Brian.
yes, being above my thoughts and allowing that kind of, you have to control it, but especially with him because he has so much to give to other people, whether it's crime, whether dealing with grief. These are very heavy topics that people are going through. I just loved how he spoke, his energy, how he thinks about his process. I'm very thankful for his time.
He did not need to sit with us all that time. And
I love how we were like, we can keep going if you just want to keep going.
like, I will sit and talk to you for 10 hours,
like,
John.
no, the reading is
He
really,
was
keep
so
saying things.
gracious.
Yeah.
God, I hope they make a documentary, but I hope they make much more than that. But because what the book highlights and what we got from even just talking to him is how he's able to disconnect the emotion and be like, here's what's going to happen. You're going to go to this garage. You're going to go to the left, and there's going to be something there. You're going to see it. You're not going to know what. And he's just spitting out information. Like he literally just said to me, in March, you're going to see in North Carolina in March when you go, whatever it is, there's going to be something there, and it's very
I'm nervous
specific.
about taking my mom on a trip in February.
You gotta do that again?
I was taking a break.
You're such a good daughter. You take her everywhere.
No, but I think that's a good reflection too, though, in general, with all our emotions, whatever we go through, how do I step back and just direct where I need to go? It's powerful, not only just for what he's been gifted, right? To see clearly that it's not a wash of all these different things that are coming to him. All right, this is how I'm feeling right now. There's a lot of information now. How do I direct it? But I mean, I am overwhelmed
I'm
with
overwhelmed
gratitude.
too.
Katie, what did you feel?
How do you feel, Katie?
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, hearing the cancer thing, because I didn't expect it. And
Mom and Dad said hi.
it's kind of crazy because you think you know how you'll react. Like in my head, I was like, oh, if something about me comes up, oh, well, like my heart is still beating.
Oh, 100%. And when he spits out information, do you both feel this? Your brain starts racking. Like when he said the thing of the eye,
because
I was like,
once
the
it
eye.
gets past my grandma, it's very hard for me.
It's hard. I was like, oh wait, that's Tom. That's that's hard.
It
Right.
was like the holiday thing because I was
Yes.
like my mom, and then I was like, no, wait, July 2nd, July 4th.
Oh,
July 4th is the
Dad, my
holiday.
dad passed right after Father's Day.
Right. So,
I completely forgot.
So it's like we forget these things. Honestly, when I remember watching the show Crossing Over, I literally remember some people blanking. He'd be like, who's the P name? And they were like, I don't have one. And they're blanking. And then all of a sudden they raise their hand. They're like, oh my God, it's my mother. And like they literally can't. The adrenaline. Yes. He's so gracious.
My hand is shaking.
I
still a little
know,
bit.
completely.
Well, we were touched by the other side and him. And
And I have to say, I loved how he spoke about it all going through the idea, the critical thinking aspect of it all. Yes, because I think a lot of people do think of mediums as this woo-woo thing.
Yes,
And the fact it
to
was like you guys said in the interview, the groundedness of it all. And then for me, like the intellectual part of it all is just really cool. It's just
Guys, what a way to start 2026.
I think I can't talk anymore.
No, I know.
need
We
to
got
go
we
to
don't start.
decompress.
We got it.
We need to
we got to don't start.
don't start.
Oh, God.
Well, thank you guys for this beautiful experience together.
Yeah, it was amazing. Share this episode with someone who you know that is struggling with grief. You can follow John on Instagram, and his app is Evolve.
We will all be touched by grief at some point. It's inevitable.
Yeah.
But it's, what we know is life and death, and it's how we live the days that we're here.
I love y'all.
All right.
Guys, we're back after sitting with the John Edward reading for like a couple of days.
John Edward.
The John Edward reading. I had to re-listen to it because I felt like, I don't know if you guys feel this way. Sarah, we chatted about this a lot. When you go to like a live show, or even if you just have like a medium read you in person, you like, they shout out names and you're like, that's not me. And then you're like, oh my God, that is me. Or I don't have anyone by like with red hair. And then all of a sudden it hits you like me, it hits me like an hour or two after. Does that happen?
Well,
to you?
I was listening and I was laughing because it was like he said Tommy. And like it was as clear as day that it's your husband, Tom. But it was like we all took a beat, and like all of a sudden your brain of memories like goes away because you're just you're hoping they just feed you the information, and you're just like, yes, of course. But
I had nothing when he said Tommy. I looked to you, Sarah. Like, all right, who's in your family? Like, it didn't even connect for me.
well, the adrenaline is going too, right? Because I guess there's also a part of you that you want something to come through, right?
Right. Well, no, I was listening, and we all get excited when we feel connected to what he says, like winning the lottery. Because even he was talking to you about a holiday that was close to your father's passing. And then I completely forgot. I was even thinking about, for me, we were in the funeral home on Father's Day. Like my dad passed like
Sarah,
2 days before.
It's so funny you said that, because when I re-listened to it, my first thought was, oh, this is Katie's dad coming through, because I remember 4th of July. And then my second thought was, nope, Sarah's dad. It was Father's Day, because I remember going to the funeral.
Yeah.
So how weird is that? Yeah, he did. I mean, he started with you, Sarah, and he immediately, what did he get right? Did he get right? Cop?
Well, he spoke in the beginning of our interview, and he said later that he was testing the ground if I was open to being read, which I thought was really respectful. And I thought that was something like unexpected, because he talked about other mediums, how they just go up to people in like grocery stores on TV, and they're like, I know everything about the person that passed, and they just spill it out at these people. And sometimes it's a loss, and grief is a very private, personal thing. And it's so vulnerable and soft inside, right? Because we do all this work to protect and heal. But I mean, I think if you go to a medium, of course you are open to that. One would think.
Sure.
I mean, I told you the time that I went to see him, and there was a woman in the audience that she wasn't receptive. And he's like, listen, if you don't want to hear it, we won't talk about it.
He did. I think he said that thing where he was like, no medium should walk around open all the time, right? And you have to protect yourself. And I do think it was so nice that he asked all of us, can I, we were all game for him to read us.
Sure.
And then he did, so he definitely got it on the head for your dad, Cop. He like hit it immediately in the first like couple of minutes of the interview. And I was like squeezing, Sarah and I were squeezing each other's hands, like, oh my God. He knew immediately that your dad like showed up. And it's just so, for me personally, I always get like a calming feeling, like, oh my God, it's amazing. I don't know if other people get nervous by it. Like I was talking to my mom about it, and she was like, I can't believe that there's another side. Like she knows it, but it's just like, oh, it's just so mind blowing to her.
Well, I would say I was thinking about that recently, and I think all three of us is the good conversation to have is, can you be religious and faithful and still feel connected with mediums? I think it's an interesting crossover, but of course he started in churches, and like, I think there is some hesitation with that they're just in heaven and they, or with God.
Yeah.
But for me, I think God is all around us at every moment of our lives. That why wouldn't our family members that pass on be present in that kind of way? Where I said cardinals on the podcast, but I was thinking how much it's changed, and I see bald eagles My chat always makes fun of me. He's like, American. I always go, American bald eagle. And I've seen so many bald eagles in times where like I was supposed to be at work and I wasn't at work and I had to take a flight. And I remember being in a panic and like there was two bald eagles just like cruising above me being like, oh, they woke me up to be like, get your butt to work. And I was like, it's dad poking. But, you know, there's this presence that we do feel. And I think that's the question of which I've asked him is, are we choosing to see things and say that's them or is it them? And I think that's always a question in my mind, but just, I guess just believe and it's just reminders to think of them.
Absolutely. And I think he did say that, right? He was like, you know, it's not always going to be them, but the fact that it is there as a reminder that they're with you and around you. And I think that's beautiful. And I really, to your point about religion, you know, and the mediums, who are we not to believe that God uses people as conduits too, right? Yeah. And I think he had, like, the second he signed on, there's just such a groundedness and presence and calm about him that, you know, you felt through the screen, or at least I did. And, you know, I'm camera off, I'm just listening during all of that.
But and camera off and listening, he got your dad to come through.
He got my dad. Yeah. Which is insane. And to your point of like how you were saying you felt calm, or, you know, there's a calm. I was more adrenaline going. And that could also just be like, you know, it was unexpected for me. I thought he would, you know, focus more on the two of you. But it was beautiful. And it does stay with you in a really awesome way.
I was gonna ask both of you, do you both feel now that you've had that interaction and you had a little message, I call it a message, but you can think of it whatever you want, to sign a message for your dads and for your mom, Katie, did you both feel like, oh, that feels good? I feel good that there was those moments.
What do you think, Sarah?
I know it's a tough answer.
My dad's birthday is around now. And I just think it's always hard.
Yeah.
And of course, yes, I'm grateful. And I feel him beyond a medium. I'm telling you, there's these times in my life that I feel like he's just poking.
Wait, I love that you just said that. I feel him beyond a medium. That's huge. That's so powerful.
But they're like silly moments of like, why did I do that? Why did I look back? I would just keep walking, but I'll look back and be like, I did forget my wallet. It's sitting right there in a hotel and I would have left it. Like these moments of like everyday ordinary things that I would have like feel something, be like, turn around, Sarah. Like
Sarah, I do.
That's the case because
I know exactly.
But I'm not always thinking. I'm a talker.
No, I know exactly what you're thinking, but I'm going to attribute that to your openness, your connection. You're an energy reader to some extent, right? Like that's important. You are self-aware. And I think those people who are open, self-aware, energy readers, empaths, call it whatever you want, you do have more interactions with the tap on the shoulder or the, oh my God, I know he's here. For sure. I have not always been like that, but I've gotten better, you know, the more I'm, you know, sort of evolving into a fully fledged human. I'm not there yet, but we're getting there into a full adult for sure. And I will say, like, what John read for me made me laugh because I told my sister about it, and my grandmother always comes through. And what I mean by that is my sister
wants the attention.
No, dude, like she's past 18, 20 years now. She's past a long time. Let's put it that way. And I've sat with mediums who've been like, oh, your grandmother just passed. I was like, no, she's passed years. And they're like, well, the energy is so strong. It feels like, you know, some mediums have said to me, the stronger the feeling, the more recent they've passed. And, you know, the light that's further away to them, oh, she's passed, you know, 30, 40 years. But it's always like she just passed. And my sister joked and she was like, Candace, remember when my sister took her friend to a medium? And my sister waited outside the door because her friend lost her fiance. And my sister was doing a good thing and being supportive. And my sister sat outside in the waiting room of this medium. And the medium came out and said to my sister, you have to get up and go in the car. And my sister was like, why? She's like, because the woman with the red hair inside is not letting me read your friend. And she wants me to talk to you. And my sister was like, that's grandma. Like, and this was like, And that's happened to my mom. She's gone to like meetings with friends and they're like only reading my mom. And my mom's like, I don't want to be read. I'm here for support. Like very funny. So it always makes me giggle when she comes through because I'm
And
like,
I think that's interesting, right? Because you can't control
can't control it.
who's present. And I think that's something that I took away this time is he says he's there. Did I want more information? Maybe, but I don't think that's what it's about, right?
Correct. Yeah.
And that's something that's interesting that I felt this time at a reading. I was like, tell me all these things where like I've been looking for this album of photos. Like, where's the album? I keep asking my father. You know what I mean? Like, I want the but you want to have this conversation that it was and what it was.
Yeah.
And you don't get that through mediums, but you understand that they're with you. So I would say, yes, it reminded me that my healing is my journey and that he's with me, but there's something about wanting more. I think I'm still pretty fresh in the loss.
I was just going to say, this is
Yeah.
very raw for both of you. And I think when you're fresh in the loss, it must be difficult. Yes.
Yeah.
So I've never had a medium experience
Oh,
at all. And I mean, I'm fascinated with it.
What a
It
way to
just was never-
start.
Yeah, fascinating.
right? It just was never something I was drawn to do. And, you know, I grew up Catholic and there's the whole, like, if you open the door, you don't have control over who comes through,
Yes.
you know, which you kind of were talking about, Sarah. And in terms of like signs and whatnot, and I've only shared this with a few people, but when my mom passed, she was in hospice in our home. And after she passed, I went into the room I was staying in and I had a music box. It was like this beautiful snow globe Christmas music box. I still have it. It was just too big and heavy for me to store in New York. So I kept it there. And I was going to, you know, basically call my brothers to let them know she had passed and the music box started playing.
Oh,
And
wow.
it was that moment of like, okay, like that was her goodbye. And it's funny, I never felt her again in the house. I had a family friend come over even after my dad passed, same house. He didn't pass in the house though. It's like, yeah, I don't feel them here. But in a way for me, that gave me such peace.
Yeah.
Yes.
Such peace. And also knowing them, like especially my mom. So like going back to the reading when I really wanted him to feel something from my parents, but there was something in me also that was like, nah, they're not going to come by. They're doing their thing up there. Right. So it was like that little nugget from my dad. And I was like, of course it's my dad. It wasn't going to be my mom.
Yeah, I was just
my
going to
mom.
say.
Of course
yeah.
it was my dad just being like, answer.
Yeah.
Later.
Well, I think to both of your points, it's like, that's enough, right? Like that's enough information and that's enough. That's all you need. And that's all they wanted to say in that quick moment. Like, you know.
No, I was saying it wasn't enough.
I
For me,
know.
it's not enough. Like I was like, I want more. Like I was like, yes, he was police. Yes, you know what? I wanted more details.
It's like you wanted the floodgate to open.
The floodgate.
And Katie, on your point, like
Huh.
where you said, like for me, when Dad passed and it was before his funeral, he always sat out back at the fire pit. And Mark was out there setting up the fire pit when you used to smoke a cigar and play poker. And me, Chad, Janice, and my mom were inside and we heard these huge bangs in the house. I mean, my dad's presence was
he was a big dude.
He was 6'3", he was heavy-footed, and he was a loud person. and so like we were like, did you hear that bang? And my mother didn't hear it. We're like, maybe it was Gracie. And Gracie was the only one upstairs. Grace is 10 years old. Probably
not Gracie.
He came down and jumped. We heard another huge bang. And we were like, that was him saying, get your ass out by the fire pit and be a family together.
Yes.
Yeah.
We never had that moment again. And I think he was still in the home, just making sure we were okay.
Yes. 100%.
Well, and because maybe, you know, you needed that.
He wasn't. So his last words were, it's too soon. I don't want to.
Yeah.
He wasn't, I'm not ready.
Mm.
So I think being in that home was hard to leave.
Yeah. And I mean, it just goes to show you that every grief experience is so singular to the people experiencing it and the person who has left them. And I will say it was so different with my mom because my dad was still around and it was, you know, helping him through it first. You know, they were together they celebrated their 50th wedding anniversary a couple months before she passed, which is like such a crazy thing these days, right? 50
Oh,
years.
gosh,
But
I know.
so the house was filled with her because it was filled with him.
Yeah.
And it was really fascinating to me, especially that John, or he made me think of also what he does, his ability as being based in grief, because it's not really an angle I thought of. And now, having experienced it, it makes so much sense. And I think of what a grief counselor I worked with after my dad had passed. And what she had said to me was, losing him, you're losing your mom again. Right.
Yes.
Because when he was
Yes.
still around, and I'm sure, Sarah, you feel this, there's still a piece of that unit with you. And then having lost the second parent, for me, it was like, oh, you're doing it. Not only are you losing both parents, you're now grieving your mom. It was just interesting to think of the world of mediums and psychics as just another offshoot of grief, of I don't want to say a career in grief, but
No, I
Well,
mean, listen, that's
oh,
one thing we all know, birth and death. It's going to
birth
happen.
and
So
death.
we all will experience
Yeah.
the latter, not all of us having the
yeah,
birth, but
it's
Sarah,
what do they say? It's
why do
not the
we?
club. Sorry, go. I was just gonna say it's the club everyone's gonna be in at some point.
yeah,
Nobody wants the membership.
Sarah,
but I
why do
think
we never have tissues? We
I know.
never have tissues. I swear to Christ. What is happening?
Candace, you had some interesting, like at the end of the reading, there was a lot of things that were
Well,
Oh,
about Tom
for
too.
you.
it actually wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't. It was going from me to my husband because obviously Tommy is Tom.
Yeah.
Um, but I didn't really know. I kind of was saying, yes, I think that's Tom because I do remember, John immediately said, there's someone here, a John, a Joe.
Right.
He did say Uncle Louis. He did say Louis. There is an Uncle Louis in my family. I was right about that. I double checked. I'm calling it fact check. I fact checked it with
Yeah.
my aunt, and she was like, "Yes, Uncle Louis. He's always there." And I'm like, "Oh, okay."
Wait, is
He's
this Aunt
another one.
Phyllis?
This is
Fact
Aunt
check with
Phyllis.
Aunt Phyllis.
Fact checked with Aunt Phyllis. And it was very funny because she was like, "He always comes through. He's been dead 30 years." I'm like, "That's very funny." Another one. My family just trying to get back in. Ridiculous. But I did have that quick moment where when he said John or Joe, and I went, you know what? I know Tom had an Uncle John, and I know that he called him Tommy. I knew that much. I didn't know the rest, and it didn't connect until I asked Tom later that day. And John Edward was right. Tom gave me permission to share. Tom's uncle passed when Tom was young, about 14, and he was his best friend, and he called him Tommy, and he did commit suicide. And when he passed, he did have the body, when discovered, had something going on with the eye, because John Edward kept saying, "What's with the eye? He's
Yeah,
showing me the
right.
eye." He committed suicide from driving. He drove into another car on purpose. It was definitely deliberate. There was a letter, and so my husband Tom was very open, has been open about just his Uncle John in general, saying, "I know he died of suicide. I was really young. It was hard on me." But I never actually knew the details, like the whole eye thing. I kind of I've been with Tom for so long that I was like, maybe. So I do just want to say that John Edward was 100% right, because when I brought it to Tom, of course, Tom just started bawling. His eyes those blue eyes get all watery. And then I'm like, oh God, I'm going to lose it. And we don't have tissues. We never have tissues. And we were both crying. And he was like, oh, that was him. He's like, my husband has always been the type of person, and we all know this, I've said it before, walks into a room, can tell you some things about a room, and he definitely is more in tune than I am. But he is also the type of person that isn't afraid to be read, but not everyone could read him. There's been times when we've sat down and, I'm very open to these mediums and things, and mediums have said, "Hey, Tom, can you get up?" Or, "Hey, Tom, I can't see past the white light. You're not letting me." And Tom would giggle. Like, I don't know what that's happened to me. I mean, they could see anything they want inside me, but Tom's very interesting. And he always said, every time I sit down, no one ever gets to Uncle John. And that always kind of bothered him. And he's like, oh, I guess he has nothing to say to me. So isn't that funny? This was the first time since Tom's
And he wasn't
14.
there.
Yeah, he's never come through. And that was it.
I would love to know more about that.
Yeah, it's a whole thing, but it was very validating. I'm going to use the word validating because John Edward used it. And now
I think that's a great
good word, right?
The one thing I feel like for me, the biggest takeaway is you can, when you do lose someone, right? I think, become somewhat obsessive with mediums to find that communication.
Like Phyllis.
Like my aunts who sought out. Oh,
And I don't think it's wrong. I think I still seek it. I feel the same way. If you
1000%.
But one of the most important takeaways, I think, is, especially with what John Edward talk about with grief, sometimes it's good to just let my dad looking down and be like, Sarah, you living every day
Is right.
thinking about me.
100%.
That's what's the message.
Yes.
That's what's important.
Your dad would be like, Sarah,
the legacy.
live it up. Yep. He would.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know,
That's
stop
right.
trying to seek me. I am in everything you do every day.
Yeah.
You know, Sarah,
It lives in you, literally.
I do think I'm on the fence. What I mean by that is like what you just said, and what I remember as a kid, my aunt struggling with my grandmother, my other grandmother. She kept, I mean, years upon years, starting trying to find John to read her and other people because she felt like she couldn't let go. And that part of me is that I just want to keep talking. I want more. I want more. And then the other part of me is like just what you said, Sarah. Go fly. Go live your life. Go. Do all the things that he honestly knew you were going to do, but wants to see you do it. And he's there with you. So I'm on the fence, but I think it takes a lot of strength to be like, you're with me. I got you. And I don't need to seek out anymore because I don't know if I can. I'm a seeker. I'm still seeking.
Well, I think it was really interesting too that John had said, and correct me if I misheard this, but he had said the importance of therapy, counseling, in addition, you know, not that seeking out a medium wasn't, you know, something that can be a part of your grief journey, but that in the process of letting go, really talking to someone and working through it. And I think that especially with my dad, I started talking to someone before I felt I needed to, and it was probably the best decision. And maybe everyone's journey is different, but for me, I think that definitely it maybe helped with the seeking. She had said to me, it's never going to go away. One day it'll be a boulder on your chest, and the next day it'll be a pebble in your pocket.
Oh gosh, where's tissues?
But it'll always be with you.
And Katie, you know, all of us who have lost, I think, but you and I with our parents, it's like we get to celebrate a lot of incredible memories, beautiful memories that are with us forever and who we were raised to be. And I think when I went to go see John Edward, there's a lot of people suffering from really terrible losses.
Yeah,
trauma,
good. Yes.
Oh yeah, universal.
And,
Yeah.
you know, but these stories, and I can understand people seeking more. I can be grounded in knowing what I was so privileged and lucky to have in my life. But these people that are truly seeking answers, I can understand a different drive than.
Oh, for sure. I mean, I feel very lucky that there is I don't want to say a calm within my grief.
No, there's a peace there. And I think that's beautiful. That's beautiful.
And I love that. I love that he was very vocal about saying, talk about the person. Like,
yes,
really say, you know, or when you're talking to someone who has experienced grief, ask about the person. Because now that I'm, you know, a little bit further removed, a couple years from my mom, like over a year from my dad now, I almost feel like I'm not allowed. Or like, and you know, and I've talked about this with you guys, like you don't want to be, oh, I'm the girl with the dead parents, because so many people have dead parents, but it feels like it becomes such a part of your identity. And I do find myself wanting to talk about them.
Yes,
I do. I love telling the stories. The stories
talk about them. I want to hear them from both of you. I want to hear stories all day long. I mean, I tell stories from a dead grandmother of 30 years. Sorry, Grandma. Do you know what I mean? Like I'm still telling her story over and over and over and over.
Living doing it.
I'm making a living. I thank her a lot. I'm like, thanks for the character. You know,
thanks, Grandma.
I do think, tell those stories. But it's funny you both are saying that about storytelling, because I do think my parents don't tell stories the way that I would want them to. So I'm like,
I couldn't agree more.
Really? Okay, good.
I knew more stories about my mom's parents.
Yes.
I never met them. And I know it might be different generations to heal and talk about it too, right? Because we're in the generation of healing,
more. Yeah.
Open. And maybe it's a wound that hasn't been healed yet or spoken about. And I think I talked about it with my mom, where she lost her mom at 18. And then she met my dad right after.
like a week or something. It was like
Wow.
she'd always say to her mom sent dad, but like I never heard those stories as much about her parents. I
Right.
agree.
You know what's interesting, and this is not an ad, but it's something that has come up a few times since I've lost my parents. Because a friend of my dad did it. I guess there's a lot of companies now where they can send you sort of like questionnaires and all of this stuff to fill out, and then they do sort of a biography of the life and send it. And to be honest, like if there was one thing I could do for my parents, that's something. Because like, I know what they told me, but even when we went to write the obituary, it was like, wait,
Oh,
or what about this or what
yes.
about that, or just oh, we heard this, is that true, or talking to other relatives. And yeah, just writing the stories.
I have a book. I ran out during that because it hit me right in my core that dad had passed, and I kept going to this Staples to send something, and this book kept looking at me. Dad had already passed, and it just says, "Dad, the more you know," and it's all this stuff. Oh, there's all pictures of us. I didn't even realize.
Oh,
And
God,
I have my
Sarah,
speech
I
from
love
his
that.
funeral, but I have this book, and I honestly, it just kept sitting at the bottom of the shelf at
Yep.
Staples. I went there multiple times, and then it was on sale, and I was like, "Oh, I'll buy it this."
Honestly,
funny.
it was calling you.
John Edward I know, but funny. John Edward said this when he was younger, and things would happen in a room. Chad and I
Yes.
were talking about our future and our life together, and maybe having a baby and all this kind of stuff. And this book fell off the shelf as obvious as Florida does not have earthquakes. And the book that I bought all of a sudden went.
I gotta tell you, I visualize your father being there and just knocking it off, being like, "Yep." Oh, Sarah, I love it. I think those are so great, those books. There's a great website. Don't have a name of it. I will put it in the description notes. It's gone.
I know that was like me in the book. I was like, I don't know.
It's in the tissues, but I can tell you
Yeah.
this, that it has books that say mom's story, dad's story, grandma's story, and there's prompted questions in which you can answer.
Yes.
I bought a few for my mom for Christmas the last couple of years. I even did a recipe book. I'm like, Barb, put it in there. Barbara has not stepped up. I'm going to get on her case.
Look, I can talk to Barb. Barb needs to get. I can.
But Grandma did it the same way. We've
Did she
done
do
this all the
it?
time. No. I think
No.
so. I think doing interviews are also a good
Those,
idea.
I think that there's another website. I don't know it. I'll put it in the description notes. I'll find it. But there's one that
We are
does
such good advertising.
the one that does pay us for advertising and then we'll do it. There's one, just what you said, Sarah. It's a video that it's just prompt questions with a video of mom and dad or grandma and grandpa and Nana, whatever you want. And I do think those are great too. This was for us a great way to start 2026. And I'm so glad I got it to start with you ladies and doing this. And this was just beautiful.
And they're always with us.
They're always with us.
Thanks for joining us today.
You can follow us on Instagram at Don't Start Podcast.
Or subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.
And we'll see you next time, friends.
Don't Start is produced by Anthony Street Productions.